This series has almost seen 200 over the course of 2 games. It's been chippy, it's been fast-paced, it's been intense, it's been BSL basketball as Antoine Mason receives the opening tip, and we are underway here. Demosthenes getting us started.
Nick, I'm not sure if the refs have been blowing that whistle a little too frequently or if the games have just been that physical, but I lean towards the latter, frankly.
Rogues ball off an early turnover, so the Toundra not off to the hottest start on their first possession. Thankfully, James, there will be many more of those left to come.
I'm not sure what the stats are on an average. Actually, it is 75 possessions per team on average, and so that's a lot more than one.
Brown finding Hobson. Hobson, open space for 3. Nailing the first 3 of the game, Robert Hobson.
Nick, that's a bit of a unique action for the Rogues. We don't always see William Brown in those dribble handoff actions, and it paid dividends there. He created a lot of space for Hobson with that screen.
Antoine Mason being guarded tightly by Omega Harris, finding Jalen Smith in the corner. Demosthenes up, and that one good. The finger roll off the rim, the glass, and eventually finds its way into the basket.
Nick, we're seeing a trend that was happened in last night's game as well, that the Toundra are happy to trade 3s for 2s.
Collins with that 3 attempt was no good, but stolen by Omega Harris. Back to Jalen Smith. A little bit of a scramble here. Finally able to get it out. My goodness, the Toundra escaping a very precautious predicament there as Marc-Andre Fortin for 3. I believe that's the first 3 attempt we've seen in quite some time for Marc-Andre Fortin this series.
Well, Nick, the Toundra just 9 of 32 from long range last night. Not good efficiency. With that said, this man right here, Antoine Mason, 5 of 10 from long range, so the Rogues need to contain that.
Up and takes a couple of bounces. Go the other way here. It is Dominic Welsh inside. Will Brown getting that one to go. Omega Harris for 3. Off the rim, rebounded by Dominic Welsh.
Both these teams finding their rhythm right now, Nick. It's going to take a moment, as it always does, but each of them capable of heating up.
Welsh, Mason, that's knocked out of his hands. So Toundra ball as we reset here.
Nick, entirely possible that we'll continue to see that many fouls called as Antoine Mason gets ready to inbound here. Inbounds the ball. Demosthenes finds Mason. Into 410. 410, bodies all around him. The shot rattles in. 4-3 Montreal Toundra. As Robert Hobson takes the ball up the floor, uncharacteristically. Hobson finds Armani Chaney. Chaney takes the screen from Will Brown. Throws the pass. Brown with the slam. A tremendous dunk from William Brown as the Rogues take the lead, 5-4, 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Here's Demosthenes. Finds Welsh. Welsh for 3, misses Will Brown with the boards. Will Brown finds Omega Harris. Harris gonna push the pace as he is known to do. Omega Harris knocks down the mid-range jumper with the contact, and that is an and-one opportunity for Harris. An extremely difficult shot and a very impressive field goal.
James, shout out for covering for me there while we fix a couple of small technical difficulties. Omega Harris heading to the free throw line. The Newfoundland Rogues now off to a very hot start.
Nick, you know, I feel like I've learned to do play-by-play just sitting next to you. It's like osmosis. Like, I feel like I'm much better at it than I was when we started doing this.
Well, play-by-play is not very hard, James. You just look and call what you see. You're the one with all the basketball knowledge here. As Antoine Mason to Philip Flory, looking around. Mason to Flory. Looking for an option here. Fortin takes it himself, and Will Brown with the big stiff block.
Nick, Will Brown likes to block a shot.
Hobson open in the corner. That one no good. Rebounded by Brown. Fouled. Heading up to the rim, so 2 free throws are going to come up for Will Brown.
Nick, something I'm seeing early here, I think there's an emphasis on Will Brown leveraging his size and mitigating that physicality of the Toundra. He has been very assertive here early.
So Will Brown getting ready to fire off these free throws now. He misses that first one.
That's actually a rare miss for Will Brown, usually a reliable free throw shooter. As a matter of fact, didn't miss a free throw in his last game. Makes
that one, Will Brown. So 9-4 now for the Rogues early on in this one. Mason handing it off to Flory. What will Phil Flory do here? Flory to Welch. Welch now to Demosthenes. Demosthenes up and put back in by Marc-Andre Fortin. Harris to Brown for three. Nailing it, Will Brown!
Wow. Nick, that was not any three. That was an off-balance, exceedingly difficult jump shot.
Fortin up against Brown here, and he'll get that one to go. It's been a big battle here, Will Brown and Marc-Andre Fortin. Not a lot of Amari Haynes underneath there. It's been a battle between those two. I believe they're the tallest players on their respective teams. As Armani Chaney up and in. Armani Chaney with the lay.
Nick, that type of craftiness is how Armani is such a strong and efficient finisher in spite of his relatively small stature.
Welch up, and that one, the layup is good.
Both teams came to play, Nick. Marquise Collins trying to assert himself.
Now Will Brown driving, looking for an option, pulls up himself here, and that airballed.
That's not something we see from Brown too often, usually more of a play finisher than a shot creator.
And stolen there, it's gonna go the other way. Omega Harris, James, someone needs to investigate Omega Harris for some kind of crime, because the amount of things that he steals at the Mary Brown Center is unbelievable. Big block attempt there from Will Brown, no good. Demosthenes finishing that one off. James, Nervins Demosthenes has been a problem for the Rogues early on in this one. Fast pace here, Chaney with the lay. I can't even keep up.
It's a bit of a head spinner, Nick. Bit of a head spinner. I wanted to make a comment about Omega as the Toundra knocked down a three, being a kleptomaniac so badly that I'm still saying it, even though that was quite some time ago. This one is just hard to keep up with.
Phil Flory was the man who nailed that three, and Omega Harris will be the man who nails that three right there. Trading threes, these two teams. Omega Harris coming up with a crucial block once again. So Toundra will retain possession in the Rogues half, but we will have to wait for the first timeout of this game. James, this first timeout will give us an opportunity to talk about our keys of the game. James, what are we looking at in terms of keys for this game for the Montreal Toundra and the Newfoundland Rogues?
Well, Nick, when it comes to the Toundra, the first thing to do is they have to keep the momentum going. If they find an advantage, they need to maintain that advantage and roll with their momentum. Secondly, they got to find Antoine Mason and Dominic Welsh. Those are their two best offensive players, their two most dynamic scoring threats, and so they got to feed them at all costs. Lastly, they had to defend the three ball. They lost handily in terms of the three-point battle last night. If they can minimize the shooting advantage that the Rogues have from a roster perspective, they should be able to win this game. As for the Rogues, they want to stay focused, which is key for any team at any time. They want to move the ball around. Last night they got lulled into some isolation, low passing possessions on a pretty regular basis, especially down the stretch, and they want to offset that. Most importantly, win the series. It's as simple as that.
There we go, James. That is the keys to the game. And if you're a fan at the game, the key is just to have fun, which is what all these guys are doing. Look, they know they're on the Jumbotron now. We love to see our packed house here at the Mary Brown Center. Of course, James, this could end up being, once we do the final tallies, the most attended Rogues game ever. Yep. So seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, we'd like to thank you for this momentous occasion in basketball history in Newfoundland.
Nick, you take a look around, there's a lot of people here, and we really appreciate it. And I know that the players appreciate it even more than we do at the end of the day.
Demosthenes on the ball here now. The Toundra will appreciate a full crowd if they can somehow get a series victory. That one no good under the basket, and it's going to go for Omega Harris. Harris inside to Lewis Jonkum with the finish. Excellent play between the two Rogue stars.
That's just a perfect pick and roll, Nick, and Lewis Jonkum doing a great job to just put it up solidly, not trying to put any hot mustard on it or throw down any 180 slams, just get it in the basket. Execution.
Simple, effective. Here's Mambi Diawara, who's the Rogues broadcast player of the game last night. Phil Flory up off the glass and in. Philip Flory, he is now sitting at 5 points in this game after making that bucket.
Very smooth move from Flory there.
Collins, that 3 attempt, no good. He hasn't been able to connect so far in this game on any of his threes, but time will tell whether he can have that so-called revenge game, Rogues ball, after the Toundra turned over.
Nick, wonderful defense from Marquise Collins there, maintaining that verticality. That's exactly how you're supposed to contest a shot, no foul, forces the turnover, Rogues basketball.
And the Rogues action cam picking up all the action down low here. Shondarius carries the ball into the Toundra territory. Here's Lewis Jonkum, stolen by Mambi Diawara, and Aaron pass, no good. Here comes Demosthenes. Out to the top of the circle for Antoine Mason, who knocks down that 3. Antoine Mason has been lethal from beyond the arc in the last couple of quarters here over the span of the last 2 days.
Nick, 5 of 10 in last night's contest. That's about as efficient as you can hope for. The Rogues have to find a way to run him off the line, but it's going to be easier said than done. He does not need a lot of daylight.
Cheney, pull up from right under the basket is good. Cheney now, that is his 5th and 6th points in this game. He sits at 1 assist as well, only trailing Omega Harris for most points in this game.
A great find from Antonio Davis.
Haynes for 3, knocking it down. Amari Haynes.
Nick, I think this is going to be another close game. Do you have the same feeling?
I certainly think so, as these two teams, they're high scoring here in the first. It's been back-to-back action. Cheney a 3 right in front of the Toundra bench. Cheney now sitting at 9 points.
Armani certainly looks focused early, Nick. 9 points. I'm not sure if he's missed a field goal attempt. Lewis Jonkum tried to fly in for the block there, but he wasn't quite able to get to the spot.
Tone on here as well for the Rogues. So it would be Harris and Robb sitting for now. Marquise Collins driving in against Mason. Getting close to the basket, up and in. Marquise Collins finishing.
We know Collins is going to look to assert himself tonight, Nick. He certainly feels motivated after yesterday's ejection. Could have been the X factor in last night's game. Let's be completely honest. He's the second leading scorer on this Rogues team.
Diawara up against Tone and blocked by Tone. Shondarius Coward will take it the other way. Coward in, up, and it is 2 free throws for the Pensacola, Florida native.
Yeah, great job there to force the contact on Shondarius Coward's part. He knew that the defense was in no position to draw a charge, and so he went hard to the basket, and he'll be rewarded as a result.
So the second timeout of the quarter coming up, which means we'll have a chance to throw to our first ad break of this game. Folks, don't go anywhere. More basketball action is coming right to your homes in just a few moments. Welcome back to the desk here at the Mary Brown Center. If you're late joining us, we've had a phenomenal game so far. It's been fast-paced, high-octane. Not as many chairs have fallen over or as many fist fights as the last couple parts of the series, but I'm sure in due time that will grow as the intensity rises slowly in this building. We are getting set to get back underway here in the first quarter. James, what are we seeing out there? It's been fast, it's been intense, like as we said. What else are we seeing?
I think the Rogues are especially asserting themselves and playing the way they want to play, which is always a fast, up-tempo style, shooting a lot of threes. And I think, as I touched on earlier, Will Brown is just really making an effort to make his impact felt. He's got 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists already. And I think, how do you counteract a physical team like the Toundra? You have your biggest player be as active as he could possibly be.
Well, you can see a shot of all the fans there enjoying this fantastic game as we are getting set to return to the court now in just a moment. So Shondarius Cowart will attempt free throws.
First one bounces in, Nick. We call that shooter's bounce where I come from.
So another one coming up for Shondarius here. And shimmy, shake, and just rolls around the rim a little bit, Shondarius Cowart.
We call that a bad bounce.
Cowart, who was ejected, only had 4 points and 2 rebounds in limited action. He's an excellent player when he's allowed to play. Up, and the putback is good. Amari Haynes going right over Marquise Collins.
I think Armani Haynes is an excellent player as well. Excuse me, Amari Haynes. I say Armani so often. Somebody we need to be keeping an eye on. A really dynamic athlete. He's got a long wingspan and a high vertical leap, and he could definitely impact the game.
Collins, 3, nailing it, Marquise Collins.
And Nick, you know the Rogues are rolling when they're scoring a lot. That sounds reductive, but this team can get extremely hot on offense. Play a very analytic, friendly style. A lot of threes, a lot of layups.
Phil Flory, 3, not able to knock that one down. Tone will grab it. Tone pulling up, making that one. Antonio Davis making his first 3 of the game. He now has 1 rebound, 1 assist to go with his 3 points.
And Nick, the more the Rogues can get out in transition and run, the less... Ooh, what an impressive shot from Antoine Mason. The less that the Toundra can bang on them and play that aggressive style and the physical style that they look to play.
Collins up here against Levi Londelay. Collins finding Antonio Davis for 3 in the corner in front of the Rogues bench with a hand in his face. It does not matter where you put Antonio Davis, he'll still find a way to get it home.
Look, about 3 defenders in the neighborhood there. Didn't matter. Shot clock running down. Antonio Davis comes up with a huge shot. 40 first quarter points for the Newfoundland Rogues.
We saw on Thursday this game moved at a snail's pace in the first quarter before lighting up as this game goes on. I hope we're not in for an opposite now, because if these two teams on the second end of a back-to-back can keep up this level of intensity, we are in for one of, if not the best game I've ever seen.
It's looking that way, Nick. Very exciting early on.
Diawara up, and Amari Haynes with the slam. He called for it, he wanted it, and he'll get it to go. The Montreal Toundra now only down by 8 points.
I very much like Mambi Diawara's ability to run point and play as a playmaker, Nick. At his size, that is extremely valuable.
2 free throws coming up here for Marquise Collins after he was fouled hard underneath the bucket. And we're going to see Trey Adams check into this game now. Trey Adams is at the scorer's table. James, our producer's saying here, Rogues had 16 and 24 points in the other first quarters of this game. So it's a huge leap, nearly doubling. Well, by the time this quarter is over, it may truly be doubled the amount of points they have in the first quarter as the series goes on.
Well, and it's more than double that 16 mark, which is obviously abnormally low and an outlier in the other direction, but this has been an extremely exciting quarter of basketball.
Diawara up, and oh my, Amari Haynes on Trey Adams. Are you kidding me?
Right back to, oh.
And it's called a foul. Wow.
Wow.
That was insane. The and one as well. Amari Haynes, incredible.
Like that
No
Diawara,
free throw, or no basket, excuse me, with 2 free throws coming up. Even if that would have counted.
yeah.
Wow.
That Diawara to Haynes connection is something to keep an eye on. And
Or
the
excuse me,
field goal
excuse
did
me,
count.
the bucket did count.
Yeah. I was trying to wrap my head around why it wouldn't have, but it's sometimes, Nick, you know, it's a difficult job.
We receive lots of stats in our ears. It is our job to determine which ones are real or not, as we have 5 seconds left to go here. Collins to Harris on the move, 3. That one no good, and the Toundra Montréal ending this first quarter in the best way possible. They don't have the lead, but they do have all of the momentum here as the Rogues lead by 6 at the end of the first quarter. Folks, don't go anywhere. We have an exclusive interview with Coach Jerry Williams coming up right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the broadcast. I am so fortunate to have Coach Jerry Williams with me. Coach, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Feeling good. Coach, maybe a bit of a discrepancy in the physicality between these two teams last night. Assistant Coach Chambers touched on that when we talked to him before the game. How do you respond to that, and how do you get these guys ready to match that physicality?
Well, we just got to come out and play Rogues basketball, man. A full 48 minutes. We played 3 quarters last night and just completely dropped the egg in the 4th quarter. So when you do that in a professional level, you're going to lose games like that. No lead is safe in situations like that. So you have to make sure you continuously play hard for 48 minutes.
Yep, well said. This team does have a way of grinding you down, but at the same time, the Rogues have a way of outrunning anybody. Is there an emphasis on transition in responding to physicality, or is that just always an emphasis for you guys?
Well, that's just how, that's one of my systems. That's how I coach the guys. We got to get out in transaction, get as many easy buckets as we can, because once we're doing that, it opens up for the guys to be able to shoot threes and, get offensive rebounds and things of that nature. So as long as we continue to get out and play hard, I think we'll be okay, man.
I think so too. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
All right, no worries. Thanks.
So I am back here at the desk at the Mary Brown Center. These fans, James, as we heard a phenomenal interview from Coach Williams, these fans have been active all night. They've been loud. They've been pumping. They've been active all afternoon. Maybe that's why they have so much energy. We'll bring you back to the desk here as we will go back out onto the court. My name is Nick Conway, joined as always by James Piercy, the man, the myth, the legend. If you're just joining us, we have a phenomenal game in store for you fine folks. The Newfoundland Rogues and the Montreal Toundra, Game 3, back in action right now.
And what a game so far, Nick. The 41-35, that's a first half stat line.
Antonio Davis making yet another 3. That is 3 threes in this one for Tone. He's up to 9 points.
This is just a burner. I don't know if it's going to slow down.
Diawara inside up against Trey, and the big block from the big man, and a foul by Diawara right under the basket. So the Rogues getting a quick opportunity to reshape here. Trey getting all the high fives.
Nick, Diawara does play the role of the irritant at times for this Toundra team. Just another reason why I love his game so much for any Toundra fans listening. But He's an undeniably physical player as he picks up Omega Harris 94 feet from the basket.
Here is Anthony Otley Jr., who had a great game last night. Tone again for 3. That one not going to fall for him. Anthony Otley Jr., the Toronto, Ontario, Canada native, had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 5 for 11 from shooting. He had an extended run with the absence of Collins. That one trickles in for Dominic Welsh, and 2 free throws coming up for the Toundra big man. But going back to Anthony Otley Jr., James, we saw him have that extended roll out when Marquise was ejected, and he definitely delivered on the offensive end.
Nick, I somehow missed the fact that Anthony was from Toronto. I'm going to have to find out what neighborhood he grew up in, what neighborhood he lived in. I'm very familiar with the city, and I love it there. That's something I'm going to have to look into.
Well, for sure, as this year rolls on, you'll get to know a lot more about these Rogues players. Everyone involved will get to learn all these cool facts about these wonderful personalities as Dom Welsh nailing that free throw. 44-38, 6-point game for Newfoundland Rogues. Will Brown on the baseline, covered by 3, and Robert Hobson not able to corral it. It's a Will Brown, well, foul on Dom Welsh, I should say, and Will Brown using his offensive prowess to put himself in the position to get the job done there.
Will Brown has certainly put his signature on this game so far, and I expect that to continue. He's able to create so much space with these screening actions.
Harris to Brown for 3. Off the rim, clank, and into the hands of Diawara.
That's a good look that the Rogues will be happy to get again, Nick, I'll tell you that.
Diawara up and off the backboard, in off the glass. Hard work by Mammy Diawara paying off there. Cheney. Slicing, dicing, can't find his way through the Toundra defense in that 2-3 zone, and it will slip out. Brandon Bellotti not able to get a firm grip on it.
Nick, you always talk about my basketball knowledge, but a great job there to identify that 2-3 coverage.
It was
Don't sell yourself short.
Cheney up and off the glass, exposing the middle there. It was so blatant of a 2-3 coverage, James. Even someone like myself could tell what was going on.
Nonetheless, that kind of sharp cutting is exactly how you break that type of zone.
Fortin up, the steal almost coming from Otley, double teamed well, and a travel called on Marc-Andre Fortin. He seems pretty shocked by the call. Nonetheless, he'll have to take it, as we love these officials here. We love all the officials. I always say on the show, it's the hardest job in the world. I'd never want to be in that position to do it. I've done a referee course before. Believe me, I haven't used any of those practical abilities that I learned, because these guys, they put their necks out on the line and put themselves in a very vulnerable position.
Absolutely. Like, outside of playing, I think it's the hardest job in the building, because you're constantly making judgment calls.
Hobson, that one at the end of the shot clock, had to get something off. There you can see a close-up view of Dominic Welsh, Omega Harris, the referee, all thanks to our Rogues action cam down below. Namdi Diawara slicing, looking for an option inside, and Levi Londelay not able to get too much of control on it, and a jump ball will be called between the two sides.
Nick, a great job by the Rogues there to converge on that backdoor cut. That's something that Toundra have been getting a lot of opportunities with, and something the Rogues need to keep in check, and that's exactly how you do it.
So here we go, the jump ball in the Rogues' end. 11 seconds left on the shot clock. It's only a 6-point game. The Rogues have held a steady yet not fully secured lead for the majority of this game. It only takes one run, though, for the Toundra to get back on top. It will be Levi Londelay from LaSalle, Quebec versus Toronto's own Anthony Otley Jr. Londelay is the winner in that one. Mason getting double teamed. Fortin inside. Big block there from Otley Jr. and the referee's going to decide what to make of it, and they will indeed call it a foul on the end. So 2 free throws coming up for MAF.
MAF. I like it.
I just don't want to keep saying Marc-Andre Fortin over and over again, if we're being honest.
It's lengthy.
It's a cool name, though. Like, it's one of those ones where you have to say the full name out. You can't say just a first name, last name. Marc-Andre Fortin. Shout out to you for having a cool name.
To me, it sounds like the name of an MMA fighter. Am I off base there? I don't know why exactly, but
maybe perhaps with the Georges St. Pierre French-Canadian fighters link, but I can definitely see it. I would not want to get into an octagon with him. He's a very tall, athletic man. Is Armani Chaney.
Both of those free throws with that set, Nick, and that was an unfortunate missed opportunity for the Toundra.
Well, as we all know, one of the most crucial parts of any cage fight is the free throw. Armani Chaney not able to get that one to go. That was near the logo from Chaney.
Well, we know that's a reliable shot for Armani Chaney. Just missed that time.
Mambi for 3, nailing it. Mambi Diawara, who was 0 for 4 last night from beyond the arc, not making any mistakes tonight.
Nick, Diawara has not asserted himself as a shooter. He's done everything else at an elite level for this team throughout this series, but...
And 1 for Marquise Collins. Sorry to cut you off there, James, but Marquise Collins, he's the one player that the Rogues truly needed last night in terms of when everyone else fouls out and the roster is stretched so thin. You normally miss Marquise Collins at the best of times. The Rogues, who were down 5 players in last night's contest by the end of it, needed someone like Marquise to be able to, have cooler heads prevail in a sense of on the basketball court, being able to make the right decision.
Well, Nick, in half-court sets, these Rogues really rely on 2 players to create, Armani Chaney and Marquise Collins. Omega Harris is a playmaker, but more of a transition playmaker. He can make a lot of things happen off of steals. But when it comes down to this type of game, they're looking at Armani Chaney and they're looking at Marquise Collins for the most part. Chaney
in, and that one will be called a double dribble on Armani Chaney. Unfortunate call there for the Chicago, Illinois native, but nonetheless, Damian Buckley and the rest of the Toundra will feel a sigh of relief as they have a chance to close the gap even further. 6-point game with 7:28 remaining. Here's Diawara losing it. Omega Harris will break out the other way. Mason, he collides into. Diawara will find his way onto the ball. Nails an open 3. Mambi Diawara now, James, who missed all of his threes last night, is 2 for 3.
Consecutive threes made for Mambi Diawara. Maybe time for the Rogues to start treating him like a shooting threat. Guard up a little bit closer on those attempts.
Speaking of shooting threat, how about that? Marquise Collins having a little words afterwards. Careful, Marquise.
Yeah, be careful indeed. Cannot risk another ejection, Nick.
Diawara, it's been kept pretty clean so far tonight. And the putback is almost good from Fortin. To the fans' delight, here comes Omega Harris to Robert Hobson. Excellent ball movement, 3. That one airballs right into the breadbasket of Antoine Mason.
Nick, I suspect Welsh might have got a hand on that and tipped it just a little bit. Wide open 3 here.
Fortin not able to knock that one down. Big rebound by Dermosthenis, which means the Rogues are now only up by 4. Omega Harris inbounding to Hobson. That full court press, so aggressive. We call that a Fatima press here on the great island of Newfoundland. Hobson to Will Brown up, and Dom Welsh able to retrieve the scraps of that one as he goes up. It rolls around, and Marc-Andre Fortin putting it back where it came from.
We've got a 2-point game here, Nick, but this Rogues offense starting to sputter just a little bit. They're going to want another one of those explosions to get back to that position that they were in going into the quarter here.
Collins inside, back to the basket, and an offensive foul called. Smart play by Antoine Mason, using his body as a foil in between himself and the basket and picking up a crucial charge.
Like Antoine Mason, not afraid to put his body on the line. In spite of being this team's primary scorer, he'll dive for a loose ball, he'll draw a charge, he'll play like a role player in some respects.
Ladies and gentlemen, a timeout has been called in this one. Armani Cheney and Marquise Collins lead the Rogues with 11 points and 12 points respectively. 2 double-digit scorers on the Toundra as well, Mambi Diawara and Amari Haynes. We will be right back with you folks after we take this short break. Welcome back to the desk here at the Mary Brown Center. To all the fine folks watching on Basketball Super League TV, that's BSLTV.tv. Of course, Nick Conroy, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, the color commentator, James Piercy. James, we were having a little bit of discussion as that ad was rolling about to what Jerry could be saying in his interview with the players here during this timeout. What did we come to the consensus to, I guess?
Nick, well, part of it is definitely rebounding. The Toundra are doing a really good job of crashing the glass. We mentioned on multiple occasions that they out-rebounded the Rogues handily last night. It's looking the same tonight, and they're especially effective on the offensive glass.
They've been pounding that board hard. We are going to see how hard they can truly pound it through the rest of this game. Folks, don't go anywhere. Action back underway. Demosthenes up against Shondarius Coward, finding Philip Flory. Cycles back around here, just under the halfway point in the second quarter. Antoine Mason takes a couple of bounces off of the hand of Hobson as well. Antoine Mason is so good at nailing threes from the top of the circle.
Nick, there's no way that Robert Hobson could have guarded that more effectively. Robert Hobson could have guarded that more effectively. Perfect point of attack defense.
Spinning fadeaway, lovely from Robert Hobson.
Antoine Mason does not need any space to knock down a triple.
Flory, how about that? No space. Pinned between Coach Jerry, Shondarius Coward, and Robert Hobson. Philip Flory still able to find a way to put it home. Shout out to Philip Flory Training as well, if you want to learn how to hit amazing threes like that. Collins inside to Cheney, not able to corral it properly, but he will keep it in for Robert Hobson. Spinning, travel, and the Montreal Toundra with a chance now with the lead in this game to expand on it for the first time in this Sunday afternoon tilt.
Nick, this team plays extremely hard. That is the first thing you'd have to say about the Montreal Toundra. They want every miss, every second chance opportunity, every offensive rebound.
Mason nailing that three. Antoine Mason is on fire from beyond the arc in this one. Up to 12 points now, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a timeout called by Coach Jerry.
Nick, I don't know what the Rogues do about Antoine Mason. He's hitting shots that you can't guard him any tighter or any better than they've been guarding him. Maybe you just cross your fingers.
Folks, we played the highlights of yesterday's game for those of you who had a chance to tune into our pregame show. For those of you who didn't have a chance, well, now is your time. Please join us for a minute of the best highlights from last night's game before we return to action here at the Mary Brown Center. 58-54, Montreal Toundra. there you can see some lovely Newfoundland Rogues fans enjoying their afternoon out here. It's a very family-oriented product, the Newfoundland Rogues, and especially on a day like a Sunday afternoon, you get a lot of families coming out here. I believe we have the entire Scouts of St. John's as well out here tonight. So shout out to them. Shout out to Calagro for donating a large swath of tickets to underprivileged communities as well. We truly thank them for their kind generosity. How about that from Amari Haynes? No generosity on that block. Demosthenes, 3, nailing it, Demosthenes. The Toundra coming out of this timeout hot.
Like, it all comes back to physicality. The Toundra just sort of asserting a degree of dominance here. How will the Rogues respond with a turnover on a short-term basis?
Collins not able to get a good look there, so the Toundra will go down the opposite direction. Here's Welsh to Demosthenes. Mason inside to Flory. Good ball movement here, and it's snuffed out by Armani Cheney, who will take it the other way. Cheney driving, cutting, shooting, and the rebound is good for Marquise Collins. Finds Shondarius Cowart. Jonkum up, and that one's stuffed off the glass and into the hands of Antoine Mason. Foul called here, and Rogues will have a turnover. My goodness, the Antoine Mason, the bucket won't count, but he seems like he just can't miss. That's not a good sign if you're Newfoundland seeing him hit that.
It's not, and Nick, it's worth noting, since that last Rogues timeout, Amari Haynes has blocked 2 shots. I mean, he's having the best game he's had in this building so far. And that's saying something, because he had a strong performance last night as well.
Up, Antoine Mason. Good defense by Lou to get that one into the hands of Omega Harris. Here's Harris up against Mason, and it's called a foul on Antoine Mason. And he...
Nick, I thought the clap was sarcastic. It turns out that it was sincere.
See, I thought the clap was sarcastic as well. Yeah. He genuinely looked shocked. I tell you what, folks, you're not going to get better value for money entertainment as once again we are seeing sparks fly between these two teams. Armani Cheney heading to the free throw line. Antoine Mason picking up a tech on the play. Cheney nailing that free throw.
Nick, I'm just going to say, frankly, that I think officiating has just been too prominent of a subject throughout this series. The officials, they make their judgment calls. They will sometimes make mistakes. I don't think they made a mistake in that case. But the Toundra, there's a lot of complaining. I'm just going to say that blatantly. There's a lot of complaining. It seems that generally if the call goes against them, there is a protest. Well, I hope I'm not out of line.
No, you're certainly not out of line saying that, James. You're just stating the facts and what we see. You know, we call it like it is. Demosthenes on the ball here. The Toundra getting a big break there as the Rogues weren't able to convert on their last possession. Foul called on the floor on the Rogues. That will be their 4th foul of the quarter. That foul was assessed against Philip Flory.
Look, if I may, a little more. I mean, last night, the Toundra shot 49 free throws to the Rogues' 34 free throws. I'm not one to assume that that free throw discrepancy means that the refs are calling it poorly. Sometimes a team just earns more free throws, but there's little for them to complain about as William Brown comes up with the block.
Cheney, 3 is good. Armani Cheney. That's exactly what the fans needed here to get woken up again.
Nick, with 2 minutes remaining, the Rogues will look to build some momentum here. Go into the half with a lead. They would certainly feel a lot better about their prospects in that case.
Mason once again, as a timeout is called, protesting to the ref. You can see Demosthenes as well pleading his case. The Newfoundland Rogues, James, this game is heating up once again. It seems like the sparks are just slowly being thrown onto the flame. Coach Jerry Williams will have a lot to think about in this crucial timeout.
I don't think the camera caught it, Nick, and I'm not sure if you saw it, but Coach Williams giving himself a bit of a scalp massage there, possibly staving off a migraine, and I couldn't blame him if that were the case.
We were indeed able to see Jerry Williams there in the middle of your screen, so if you want to zoom in and have a look afterwards, we can do so. Man, oh man, James, we haven't even had a chance to take a break during this second quarter here now, as it's been so fast-paced, so intense. The fans getting back on their feet after a big Armani Chaney three-pointer. And it's a great atmosphere at all times here. You can see some fans chilling in their super seats.
Those are super seats indeed, Nick. One fan noticed the other fans not quite as on the ball in that case.
If I was a kid, I'd be doing the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
This is why the kids love the action here at the Newfoundland Rogues. This is why they always get up for it and are always begging their parents to bring them down to Rogues games. It's because you get to see yourself on the camera, you get to have a little dance, listen to some great music, watch some entertaining basketball, and most importantly, it's a place where we can just be yourself and have fun. That's the number one thing we preach here on this show. I'm
right there with you, but I'll tell you one thing. As an adult attending a professional basketball game, as soon as that camera is panning around, I avert eye contact immediately. I have an important text.
It's funny, James, I wouldn't think I'd be the same way, and now as I get older, I start feeling the same way about cameras being pointed at me.
Yeah, things get old.
Diawara fouled, or excuse me, it's going to be a jump ball between Mambi, Diawara, and Omega Harris. Good work from Harris there to deny Mambi, but he'll have to work even harder to win this jump ball here.
Well, Diawara with a height advantage in the verticality, not much different, I don't think so. This could go either way.
Harris getting a hand on it, but it falls right to Flory. Rebounded by Dominic Welsh. Up, and that one good. So Anthony Otley Jr. beaten out for the rebound. The Toundra now lead by 4 points as we are approaching the final stages of this first half.
An explosive first quarter for the Rogues, but at this point we can conclude a fairly underwhelming second quarter for them.
Sean Darius Cower, 3, nails it! How about that for underwhelming?
Well, now not every possession, mind you, but one wonders if the Rogues have one more of those big explosions in them, and that could really swing this game.
They'll need it to happen sooner rather than later if they want to lead at halftime. Here's Dominic Welsh. That one looked good from my angle, but just didn't get the arc he was hoping for. Chaney slowing it down once again. Had a triple-double last night. Coward again for 3. Nailing another one!
Nick, Shondarius Coward not shooting exceptionally well from deep on the season, but here tonight he is heating up.
The 3-ball isn't necessarily Sean Darius's game, but he uses it to expert effect here in this one. I like to describe him as an all-rounder guard, and an all-rounder center is able to nail threes like that. Shout out MAF, Mr. Fortin.
Love Sean Darius's game on the whole. He does a lot of things well, but yeah, spacing the floor, not always his forte, but hey.
Chaney. Winding down time off the clock here. What will happen? The block from Will Brown. The screen no good. Fortin quickly down the other way. Here is Diawara. Will get to the basket. 3 for Fleury. He has to get it up. And no good. No foul. No bucket. And no Rogues lead at halftime for these fans. The Newfoundland Rogues trail 65-64 at the half. So the action is back here at the Mary Brown Center, the last half of basketball until later on this week as Will Brown with the putback.
Nick Brown was very physical early in this game, sort of maybe lost his way throughout, and of course it's hard to maintain that kind of efficiency for all 48 minutes, but he's going to have to try.
The action cam picking up everything we need to see from down on the floor level. That one a foul. So 2 free throws coming up for Philip Flory. Philip Flory James, who sits at 8 points in this one, blanks across the rest of his stats so far, we believe.
Well, Nick, but
Nails that
certainly a very reliable floor spacer for this team, if nothing else. And some crafty moves under the basket, too, not strictly a shooting specialist.
His three ball has been dynamite so far. 67-66 now, the Newfoundland Rogues back down a point as Armani Chaney finishes that play off. Excellent from Chicago's finest.
Nick, if you were trying to predict who was going to win this game, it's a fool's errand, I'll tell you that. This one is it's likely to come down to the wire again, I think. I wouldn't be surprised to see another extra frame like we did last night.
Welsh. Will Brown guarding Marc-Andre Fortin. The one-handed slam. Will Brown wanted to take the charge, but it will not happen. Marc-Andre Fortin finishing that one strong. Omega Harris now to Will Brown.
Brown at the top
Brown.
of the key.
And that one, we're just trying to see what it will be. Inbound for the Rogues is coming. We're just trying to figure out on who exactly it was for.
Nick, Will Brown working more of those dribble handoff actions than we typically see from him. It's a good way to create space for this Rogues team.
Collins, three. Nails it, Marquise Collins, three ball.
Wide open off that pick and pop. A little slip screen from Collins to get himself open. And when he's got that much space, he's going to knock it down almost every time.
Marc-Andre Fortin handing off to Antoine Mason, who's being double teamed. That won't matter. He'll break past both of them and finish that one strong. Antoine Mason, James, he started this series with as the 6th highest point scorer in the Basketball Super League. Leading into tonight's game, he is now the 4th highest scorer in the Basketball Super League, overtaking Marquise Collins, who nails that three in response.
Did he overtake Marquise Collins, Nick?
He did overtake
wow.
Marquise Collins, so funny timing.
That was poetic. The fates aligned.
Maybe with that three, he overtook him again, although the way Mason's playing, the way Fortin's playing, the way all these Toundra players are playing, it certainly seems unlikely.
Great job by Fortin to absorb the contact and finish through it there. Very tough bucket for a very tough player.
Harris into Brown, who will hold up here. Brown, three off the rim and rebounded almost by Collins. Will fall into the hands of Antoine Mason. He has 4 rebounds in this one to go with 5 assists and 13 points. That three there from Fortin, no good. Chaney, pull up, do what he does, and repeat.
That's 20 points for Armani Chaney now, Nick, to go with 7 assists. I'll tell you what I like from the Rogues in this quarter. They are daring anybody but Mason to beat them. As soon as Mason gets the ball, he's seeing bodies as the Rogues cut off his drive there, walling him off. And that's how they're going to have to guard him. Dare anybody else to beat you. That's just how this has to go for the Rogues.
Robert Hobson waiting for the inbound, and now he'll finally get a chance to inbound this one. 8:30 left to go in the 3rd quarter of action. Excellent shot by the Rogues action cam. Three coming up for Hobson. That one clanks off the rim and into the hands of Dominic Welsh. Was interviewed for the post-game show last night, Dominic Welsh, as well as Damian Buckley, Antoine Mason, the likes. Mason driving, spinning, up against 2 bodies, needs to find an option. He'll find some in Haynes.
Nick, this is how the Rogues have to cover Mason, make somebody else beat you. This Toundra team is tough. They have a lot of good players, but they're a little bit light on shooting, so you can afford to double, maybe even triple team Mason.
Harris, Brown, 3 off the rim. Rebounded by Dominic Welsh. The 3 ball, the Rogues live and die by it right now. It's proving effective enough to have a 5-point lead, but the Rogues are going to need more than that as Philip Flory nails that one.
I think that might be the other shooter. It's pivotal to close out. The Rogues there, They got a contest, but it came from Armani Chaney, who's just given up too many inches in terms of height to properly contest that shot.
Harris. Collins. Driving inside to Will Brown. Now Brown up, in, and one for the South Carolina native.
Nick, I love to see Marquise Collins and William Brown in those kind of big-to-big actions. When one of them has drawn their primary assignment out of the paint is going to be less congested, and that makes for easier opportunities. Fundamental.
Will Brown, he leads the entire Basketball Super League in blocks. He is 4th in the Basketball Super League in field goal percentage, and with his scoring breakout last night of 23 points, he capped a season high less than 24 hours ago. He loves playing against the Montreal Toundra, does Will Brown.
He certainly seems to perform whenever he's up against the Toundra.
Of course, he did foul out after last night, but an impressive performance nonetheless while he was on the court. Mason. Welsh into Diawara. Rebounded, popped out. Haynes not able to grab a strong hold of it. Chaney will clean up. Armani Chaney, who has 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 20 points in this one, only looks to continue to add to his tally. Brown, that 3 is no good from the big man. Antoine Mason will bring it out the other way. Mason and Chaney going careening almost into the crowd as that one put back up by Haynes.
Nick, a couple of possessions ago, as soon as Mason got the ball, Omega Harris charged him. He was being guarded by Armani Chaney, but Omega knew we're supposed to have 2 bodies on him, and it was very effective. Forced Mason into a pass to a non-shooter, took some time off the clock for the Toundra and forced him into a bad shot.
Collins up on Antoine Mason inside and stolen by Dominic Welsh. Excellent pass to be able to get it to go, and Philip Flory shaking the rim on that one. Shaking the Rogues fans' hearts as well.
You're not wrong about that, Nick. And it's 80 apiece for these 2 squads. My goodness, what a contest.
Hobson driving in, up, not able to get the finish. Rebounded by Diawara. He'll go the other way. Shifty move from Diawara into Dominic Welsh. Open in the paint is Amari Hayes. The second opportunity is good, and Amari Hayes finishing that one off, one of the players we highlighted earlier in Marsh's matchups.
And Colby was quite accurate to name Amari as somebody to watch. He's been sensational tonight, but so has Armani Chaney, Nick. That's 22 points now.
22 points for Chaney, leading all players in this game. Welsh, 3, nailing it in front of the Toundra bench. These Toundra players cannot stop missing during the third quarter, James. If you are back home in Montreal, j'aime le basketball.
No, come on.
Welsh driving, and that will be Toundra possession still, as it is a foul called on the floor on Marquise Collins. Marquise Collins, James, if you weren't able to catch last night's game as we head into a timeout, Marquise Collins is 1st in 3-point percentage shooting. He is 5th in the Basketball Super League in scoring, trailing only Antoine Mason now sits in 4th. Armani Chaney, Curtis Hollis, and AJ Mosby in that category.
Nick,
he was ejected is the point where I was getting to. If you did not know, he was ejected from last night's game. They're feeling him in a big way here back into the starting lineup, but the Rogues are still down. What have you made of Marquise Collins' return to action here?
Nick Collins has been fantastic. 18 points to go with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Maybe you'd like to see that rebounding number take something of a leap, but Marquise has a lot of responsibilities for this team. And those 18 points, they've come efficiently. The 3 ball's been reliable for him. No criticisms of Marquise Collins tonight. He's having an excellent game.
The timeout is almost over here. We have about 30 seconds left. Armani Chaney sitting at 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's by far the player in history with the most after-game player of the game awards in Newfoundland Rogues history. He'll be looking to add another one to his tally if he can have some kind of heroics here late on. You're watching on VSL TV the Newfoundland Rogues versus the Montreal Toundra Game 3. And don't go anywhere because we are in for one amazing finish.
Nick, I'll promise you one thing right now. Player of the game is going to the winning team tonight. No exception. You got to win this one. It's the tiebreaker. No player of the game. I don't care if somebody goes for 60. If they lose the game, they're not player of the game tonight.
Young Rogues fans, old Rogues fans, middle-aged Rogues fans, everyone has a good time here at the Mary Brown Center. Getting set to resume action here at the Mary Brown's Center. Diawara passing it to a wide open Dominic Welsh for three, nailing it right out of the timeout. Credit to these Montreal Toundra. Every time they come out of a timeout, they look like a completely rejuvenated team.
Yep.
And once again, Dominic Welsh making him pay from beyond the arc. 6-point game now. The Rogues need to find a way back into this for the sake of the home crowd. Shondarius Cowart grabbing his own block, and no chance he'll make that one, but Omega Harris trying to clean it up. Jonkum up. They just can't get a bucket to fall. 2 free throws coming up for Lewis Jonkum, who we had the privilege of interviewing not once but twice today.
Nick, in regards to the Toundra's preparation after timeouts, I couldn't agree with you more. And it is a testament to quality coaching for sure. These guys are obviously prepared. I think they come out of timeouts very often with set plays that they tend to run and execute quite well.
So here's Lewis Jonkum hitting that first free throw. Jonkum now at 3 points in this one. He hasn't had too many minutes of action, but when he's out there, he's been efficient, he's been capable, and he's certainly left his mark. Not only just in this game, not only just for this series, but forever in Newfoundland. He has made an impact.
Certainly a fan favorite, Nick, and just such a friendly guy.
And Marquise Collins, James, I'm just seeing Marquise Collins is going down the Zamboni tunnel, folks.
Oh,
this is a development in this one. Marquise Collins has left the Rogues bench and he is headed down the tunnel. We will have an update as soon as we have one, but that is a big development in this game.
Quite unfortunate for these Rogues to be without Marquise Collins again.
Mason.
That is the case.
Hitting that one, 6-point lead once again restored for the Montreal Toundra. We'll see what the rest of these Rogues can do. And once again, Collinsless Rogues, excellent pass to Philip Flory, and an excellent defensive stop for Armani Cheney, James.
But I have got to say that was a wonderful pass from Antoine Mason to find a driving Philip Flory. Effortless. Clearly the result of two players who know each other's spots on the floor.
Marquise Collins has returned to the Rogues bench, so it is not something that is long-term that we know of yet. He is back out there. He is expected to return to play at some point in this game, which even if you're a Montreal fan, it's good to see because the basketball that he produces is of top level.
Well, Nick, everybody wants to see a competitive game. You won't come across this win, honestly, not because Marquise Collins had to sit out, so it's best for everybody.
Shondarius, another three. He'll nail it in the corner, right in front of the Rogues action cam. Oh, man, I can't wait to look at that footage after. As Levi Londelay, stolen by Antonio Davis to Shondarius Cowart, and slowing things down here are the Rogues. Step back, three. Lewis Jonkum not able to control it. Diawara going the other way. Diawara up, and this swat attempt is no good. Takes a couple of bounces before Diawara slots it home.
Diawara is such a strong finisher, patient, waits for the right time to release.
Cheney to Cowart. Another three, stepping out of bounds. No bucket called. So unfortunate. Shondarius Cowart. And actually, I don't believe he stepped out of bounds.
I believe there was an illegal screen.
Yes, it was a
prior
foul.
to the shot, yeah.
It was an illegal screen called, so the Newfoundland Rogues will have to wait a little while longer to hear the crowd pop again, as a minute 30 will elapse in this timeout before we can get back to the basketball action. Folks, we've had so much fun. We've had an absolute blast calling this game for you guys so far, but we're not even close to being done yet. Third quarter's still left to play, and of course a full fourth quarter still left to play as well. We are going to take a short break, cut to some crowd footage of the Rogues fans enjoying themselves here, and we will return to the game action in just under 1 minute. Back underway here at the Mary Brown Center. We see a great shot of all these rabid fans ready to enjoy their carcass of basketball action.
Wow. I love the use of metaphor here on the broadcast, Nick.
It's something that I try to pride myself in. Maybe to some people come off as not so much, but nevertheless, Mambi Diawara on the ball as we are back underway here in the third quarter. Just a shave over 2 minutes left to play. Diawara spinning up, big block by Jonkum, goes out off of the Toundra, and the Newfoundland Rogues with a chance now with 2:04 left in the third to get some points back on the board.
Okay, another four-guard lineup for Coach Williams here with Lewis Jonkum functioning as the only real front court player with this group. Interesting to see how this works out for the Rogues.
Laying off to Shondarius Coward, who will kick it to Antonio Davis for three. That one no good. Mason knocking it out of bounds, so the Rogues will have a chance to reset. And what a crucial stage in the third quarter this is.
Absolutely, Nick. The Rogues can't let this one get away from them. They want to stay within one possession if they possibly can. Of course, right now it's a two-possession game.
Tone resetting, looking to find Jonkum down low. Jonkum hands it off to Omega Harris. Pass disconnect. And then we just heard Jerry Williams scream something there. I believe I got the word Will out of it, which is funny because Will isn't even on the floor right now. Now he is making his way to the scorer's table. That was a very aggressive substitution from Will Jerry screaming at Will to get to the table.
Nick, I think Coach Williams may have been dissatisfied with that pass from Lewis Jonkum, if I'm being completely honest. Just not really enough room in that passing lane to get it to it, cutting Omega Harris.
Cheney bringing it up the court, finding Will Brown. Brown to Antonio Davis. Davis looking for his teammate here, Omega Harris, finding Will Brown down low. He can't connect on it, so it'll go the other way. Up goes Diawara, and it's called down on the floor. So no free throws for Diawara, but the Toundra pushing the Rogues to 4 fouls now in this quarter.
Nick, the Rogues, they're getting away from themselves on offense. They're not playing their preferred style of basketball. They're making too concerted of an effort to pass to cutters. Even when the passes aren't available, they need to take what comes to them. 2
free throws coming up here now for a foul on Will Brown, I believe it was on. So Omega Harris going to come off now. Or excuse me, he's just going to head up to Coach Williams. He's not coming off. Diawara now. Omega Harris will have a chance to head off, and Shondarius Coward will make his way onto the floor there. You can see the left-hand side of their screen and the Rogues action cam.
That Coward, of course, has been hot from long range tonight, even though that last one didn't count. We'll note that it went in as so far as his shooting touch is concerned.
Diawara finishing that one off, so 94 to 87. 7-point lead for the Toundra. Cheney to Collins, thought about shooting, but defended so well by Brandon Bellotti. Will Brown up off the glass and in.
That's been a reliable connection in this third quarter, Nick, is Marquise Collins and William Brown working very well with that two-man game. Oh, no.
Oh, and it appears that an injury has occurred here for the Montreal Toundra.
Nick, I cannot tell who that is from this vantage point.
Unfortunately, yeah, we cannot see the face or the number, so we aren't able to confirm who it is on either camera right now. And I didn't get a full look of it, but was it a non-contact or contact injury is the question.
You always worry about a non-contact injury, Nick. That points to an underlying issue.
Because I didn't believe that there was any significant contact. Obviously, you don't need anything more than just a pinch wrong in the grand scheme of things, but we hope that we're going to see, and it's Brandon Bellotti.
Brandon Bellotti.
We can confirm now he's holding his ankle. This doesn't look good for the Montreal Toundra, of course. Bellotti, who goes by Bellotti44 on social media, is a proud member of the Basketball Super League community, and he has over 1 million followers on TikTok, over 100,000 on Instagram, who will be wishing him a speedy recovery, as are all of the Newfoundland Rogues fans here at the Mary Brown Center. We wish Brandon Bellotti nothing but the best in his recover from this apparent injury.
Certainly hope Brandon is okay. Such an exciting player. The follower count that you referred to comes from his ability to throw down some tremendous dunks, and we'll miss him presumably for the rest of this game. It doesn't look like he's going to get back on the floor. Hopefully there's nothing long-term at play in this case.
There you can see 4 members of the Toundra locker room, or the Toundra bench, are helping him to the locker room on top right-hand side of your screen. But we are back underway. The show never stops as Mambi Diawara gonna do it for Brandon here. Up, massive block by Brown. Saved by Armani Cheney as Brown will hand it back off to him. Armani Cheney inside now to Antonio Davis. Up, in, and one for the former Toundra, coming back to haunt his former employers.
Nick, that is Rogues basketball. Push the pace. Get it in the hands of Armani Cheney wherever you can, because he's going to make the right decision with the basketball. And as excellent finish from Antonio Davis to draw the foul and knock down the field goal.
17.4 seconds left here in the third quarter. He makes that free throw tone. So with 1 possession left here in this quarter, the Newfoundland Rogues could end up tying this game. The Toundra could extend their lead, but no more coulds. Time to see what will happen. Up, Demosthenes with a huge finish. And at the buzzer, they're not going to let the 0.2 seconds play out here. That is it for the third quarter. Demosthenes with an excellent cut inside and finish the Newfoundland Rogues down by 4 heading into the fourth quarter. But we are just getting started, folks. 1 more quarter left of action in this series. And we hopefully will have a chance to hear from a member of the Montreal Toundra playing staff. Folks, we will let you see this little mini game for the timeout. We may have an interview for you as well. Exciting stuff here on BSL TV. Don't go anywhere, folks. Right back with you.
good.
Welcome back to the Mary Brown Center here. I hope you enjoyed that fun little timeout game. But folks, we have a member of the Montreal Toundra here with us. It is Mason Jones. Mason, we'll let you get back to your team in just a few moments. But first, we need to ask you about how this game is developing. How are you seeing it from the Montreal Toundra perspective?
I'll give all my credits to my teammates. They're playing hard. They're playing good on offense. We're moving the ball. Playing as a team. Nobody's being selfish except for the guys who we want them to score. Coaches drawing up the plays real good. So right now we're just trying to earn this one, grind it out right now while we're away.
And before we send you back, do you have anyone to give a quick shout out to back home? Any Toundra fans that you want to thank? Anyone at all? Now's your time.
Hey, shout out to my moms, man. Shout out to my moms and my brother and my family. And appreciate Juan and them bringing me out here. That's all. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to win. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me here, Mason. Good luck out there for the rest of this game.
Appreciate you, man.
So we are back underway here in the fourth quarter of action. Mambi Diawara on the ball, up, and Philip Flory, or Marc-Andre Fortin, I should say, will take it, foul. And once again, James, a break in the action leads to the Montreal Toundra coming out hot, and 2 free throws coming up for Marc-Andre Fortin.
Nick, I have definitely noticed this team's penchant for coming out hot after a break. I think it's a testament to game planning and strategy as Fortin lines up for the free throw. Marc-Andre Fortin with 15 points in this game, make it 16 as he knocks down the free throw. It's to go with 5 rebounds. 97-92, Montreal Toundra. 11 minutes and 43 seconds to go in this young fourth quarter. Fortin knocks down the second one, make it 98-92.
98-92 in the early stages of this one. The Newfoundland Rogues once again not getting off to a hot start coming out of a break. But if we know anything about this team, they're bound to heat up. Marquise Collins is back onto the floor after a small injury scare. Up, Will Brown fouling, and 2 free throws coming up here. Hard contact from Will Brown will lead to a chance for the Toundra to hit that 100-point mark.
A strong drive, Nick, as we've grown accustomed to seeing from Antoine Mason. Not afraid of that contact, not scoring with the same volume in this game, but he's got 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. That's a nice, well-rounded stat line.
Mason makes the first one. He's had some struggles from the free throw line. He was 1 for 6 last night, Antoine Mason. And we are getting set to see exactly how many he could make in this one. And that one is good.
Nick, it's amazing to me that a guy can hit the shots that we've seen Mason hit in this building and miss 5 free throws. Because I'll tell you something, I can hit a free throw, but what I can't do is hit an off-the-dribble, deep contested 3 with Robert Hobson in my face.
I can't even receive that pass that Armani Chaney corralled, let alone put it up there. He's got the Rogues back on the board here. 6 points separate these two teams. Diawara into Demosthenes. Flory. Diawara up against Shondarius Coward. Diawara spinning, looking for an option. Got to get something up. The rebound is good for Diawara. And once again, the Rogues being beaten on the glass. It's Demosthenes to Fortin. This has been a long possession for the Toundra here. Demosthenes blocked, gets his own board again. And this time, finally, 2 free throws will come. What a possession there.
Quite the possession, and Nick, you're spot on. The Rogues, they got to contain the offensive glass here. They're struggling in that aspect of the game. The Toundra sending bodies to the glass, and it's paying off for them.
So Nervins Demosthenes, who had 3 points in last night's contest, Lewis Joncom checking in for Will Brown. Will Brown on foul trouble. So Demosthenes will hit that one. Nervins Demosthenes from Terrebonne, Quebec, hitting both of his free throws. Collins inside, goes up himself, blocked by Fortin, and Fortin letting out a cry, or I should say a plea from the referee.
Nick, surely somebody fouled Marquise Collins on that play. He toppled to the floor. There comes a point when you just gotta keep playing basketball, man.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Marquise Collins with a chance to cut the lead down. And he'll start the slow climb back for the Newfoundland Rogues here. Definitely a comeback that has all the possibility in the world of happening.
A 7-point deficit, Nick. Could be 6 after this free throw. That's certainly easy enough to overcome, but they're going to have to execute because this Toundra team is playing phenomenally well tonight.
On paper, it sounds easy. In actuality, nothing is ever that easy. As Demosthenes, excellent pass. Welsh to Mason, 3 is good for Antoine Mason.
Nick, the Rogues certainly cannot let Antoine Mason get that type of daylight. They need to have somebody dedicated to making sure he doesn't get an open shot.
Davis inside to Marquise Collins. Collins spinning and offensive foul. So Marquise Collins penalized once again, and the Newfoundland Rogues Oh, James, it is a defensive foul.
I thought the same. I definitely did think the same. A lot of physicality in this game. Sometimes it's a little hard to know how it's going to shake out precisely.
So back in comes Robert Hobson and Omega Harris, back to almost the starting lineup, minus Lewis Joncom for Will Brown.
Nick, I'll tell you, Robert Hobson could be an X factor here. If he's able to get hot, that could make all the difference for the Rogues. Once he starts knocking down triples, there's not much his opponents can do about it.
Collins shaking, finding inside, Omega Harris for 2.
Nick, the Rogues, they're scoring with acceptable volume, but it's this end of the floor where they need to lock in and make a difference, especially when it comes to this player right here, Antoine Mason, and that's how you do it.
The double screen, but no dice as they're able to get it to Demosthenes down low, and 2 free throws coming up for Nervins Demosthenes.
And Nick, listen, there are drawbacks that come with a double team or a trap like that. I mean, of course, it leaves the backdoor cut wide open, but you've got to pick your poison. Antoine Mason is killing you. You got to show him bodies, hope to force some turnovers.
Demosthenes with a chance to extend the lead to 9, and he will. 3-possession game for the Rogues. The Mary Brown Center faithful are willing their team on. Harris to Collins. Cheney. Cheney driving up against Fortin, decides to take the floater, and it was the right option for Cheney as the Newfoundland Rogues now within 7.
It's all about this end of the floor, Nick. I'm going to hammer it home. We know the Rogues can get buckets, but they have to stop the Toundra. Not able to do so in this case.
Fortin with the pull-up jumper, a quick response, quick turnaround for the Toundra. What do the Rogues have to offer in the chess match that is basketball? Collins, the pass, and it too hard into the pass, a foul. We're going to see who it was on. It was on Dominic Welsh there, so the Rogues retaining possession. And Marc-Andre Fortin, we are going to see him sub out in this one as well. Murray Haynes, or Levy Londelay, I should say, back in.
Strong game for Marc-Andre Fortin, Nick. 19 points, 5 rebounds. If we've seen the last of him, he had a commendable performance.
Collins, Cheney, pulling up for 3. That one off the rim. Cheney's 3 has been a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved in the second half. First and second quarter, he was dynamite. Up off the glass and in for Dom Welsh. So the Toundra now up by 11. This one, if the Rogues can't get a handle on it, will get out of control. What do the Rogues have to offer?
They need to act soon, Nick. That is for sure, and they need to execute moving forward.
Jonkum spinning around and makes it in. Such a throwback style of play is Lewis Jonkum. Pound, attack.
He certainly is.
No fancy tricks in his game, just simple, good positioning. And a jump ball called, so I believe that would be Robert Hobson and Antoine Mason competing there.
I believe you are correct, Nick. Lewis, I want to touch on that a little more. Such a throwback player, but one thing I really like about his game is that he's really good passing out of the post, so he can generate threes, even though he's not taking them himself.
Jump ball, just the same way we started, albeit in a different position on the court. Mason winning that one to Demosthenes. Welsh inside, up, and off the backboard, and good for Dominic Welsh, flexing on him.
A tough bucket for Welsh there, Nick.
Dominic Welsh from Cheektowaga, New York. And that one turned over, barely turned over by the Newfoundland Rogues as they get away with that there.
Nick, the Toundra are able to force Anthony Audley onto an island in that instance, put him in a little bit of no man's land, and we know Audley is not necessarily looking to handle the ball, more of a floor spacer and a defensive player.
James, it's on very rare occasions where I can look out here and still see daylight. That's exactly what I'm doing as the action continues. AD up and in. We don't get many afternoon games here in the proverbial sunny St. John's, but when we do, they're always barn burners like this one. Welsh. Oh, and just crashing into the face of Antonio Davis. That one could have ended ugly, but both guys are up and back into the action. So a timeout called. We are going to have our final ad break, what could be our final ad break of this game. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with you in just a few moments. 113 to 104, Newfoundland Rogues. And Peter Easton, ladies and gentlemen, has found his Get Air fan of the game. Shout out to Get Air Trampoline Park for providing the fan of the game token. James, you get a free pass to Get Air for winning fan of the game, not just for one night, but for a whole season. That is one amazing deal for the fan of the game.
Well, Nick, that fan of the game is going to look to bounce over there as soon as possible and get on a trampoline.
All the Rogues fans here this afternoon, there you can see the fans reacting to them. I love seeing those reactions when they realize that they're on the big screen.
Yeah. Always amusing. But Nick, there is nothing funny about this game from the perspective of the Newfoundland Rogues, and time is fleeting for them to make the comeback with a 9-point deficit.
Fantastic segue back into the basketball action. We are almost at the halfway mark of the fourth quarter as Omega Harris finds Will Brown. The Rogues have to do something to get back into this. And Omega Harris not able to keep that one inbound off of his knee, and the Toundra control the narrative of this game once again.
The Rogues just settling for some field goal attempts that aren't really in their playbook.
Up, Antoine Mason, the swat from Hobson, just a split second too late. Mason finishes, and it's a double-digit lead now for the Montreal Toundra. Cheney finding Tone. Tone, step back three. Loses his balance there at the end, can't connect, and Antoine Mason will bring it the other way. The Montreal Toundra are on fire. Mason. That was cracking off the rim.
A little bit of a heat check there for Antoine Mason, I think, Nick.
Harris finding Cheney. Cheney up against Philip Flory. Excellent defense from Flory, getting a hand in there, but that one's still close nonetheless. Harris able to win that second effort. Hobson, three, right in front of the Rogues bench, right in front of the Rogues faithful. Robert Hobson can get it done anywhere.
And Nick, they have to get stops. The Rogues have to get stops. The offense is flowing reasonably well enough, but it all starts right here.
Long delay, and that one is no good, but once again, the second chance rebound. Mason up against Tone, offensive foul. Tone drawing the charge, and you can sense something in the air is shifting here, James.
It's entirely possible, and I'll tell you one thing, Tone Davis has drawn 2 charges in this quarter. And this guy, he's not the biggest guy on the floor, but he's willing to sacrifice his body, and you've got to love that.
Well, as we're saying that, James, he will make his way off of the floor. So Antonio Davis will take a seat. He's had a fantastic game so far tonight. 14 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Dynamic offensive player. A truly special combo guard. Raised in Detroit, Michigan.
Really,
Will Brown.
really friendly guy as well, and plays to win, Nick.
Hobson up against Mami Diawara. Collins, 3 off the rim, and that one rebounded again by Diawara. Diawara has 5 rebounds in this one, 14.6 assists. He's been the primary ball handler between himself and Antoine Mason, who will hand it off to there. Mason up against Hobson, being double teamed slightly, and Will Brown able to grab the rebound, but not legally, as the referees will intervene, and the Newfoundland Rogues are in a dire situation here in the fourth quarter.
Not sure what the call was there, Nick. What are your thoughts?
I believe it was called for a push during the rebound before they took off.
Okay.
That's what I could see from my vantage point.
That's going to result in free throws, Nick, with the Newfoundland Rogues in the bonus. Just another obstacle for this team to attempt to overcome.
Antoine Mason had 32 points yesterday. Demosthenes had 3 points yesterday. 2 incredible performers for the Toundra showing up here tonight.
Nick, this team is deep. Everybody's capable of helping out in one way or another.
Hobson.
Great pass.
Collins, time expiring, have to get something up. Brown, no foul called. Fast break pass. Omega Harris trying to get back, but just overshot his step a little bit. And the Toundra Montréal are doing it for Brandon.
That's right, Nick. That's exactly right. And
Cheney.
Slipping away from Newfoundland. Still time.
Spinning up. That one foul called on Cheney, so 2 free throws are coming up for the Newfoundland Rogues superstar. He's looking at the clock, though. He's shaking his head. He knows he has a lot of work to do to get back into this one.
It's hard to feel optimistic right now if you are a Newfoundland Rogues supporter, but the Rogues themselves cannot lose faith. You've got to play for all 48 minutes, which is something Coach Austin Chambers touched on in the pregame interview.
Toundra sit in 6th place in the Basketball Super League. That is last place in the league, of course. They took an extended break from playing, as that's just the way their schedule was designed at the beginning of the year. They had a month off. This is their first series back after a month off. And with a series win here, even though they will still be in last place, they'll definitely be a team to watch out for. As any team who can take it to the Rogues like this at the Mary Brown Center is a truly special team. Not even the KW Titans could get a series win at the Mary Brown Center.
Those standings can be a little misleading. There's a lot of parity in the BSL, and all of these teams are capable of beating all of these other teams, and that's part of what makes the league so exciting.
Philip Flory hitting, or almost hitting what could have been the dagger, but just falling out in another universe. That one seals it. But what will happen in the one we live in? Robert Hobson to Marquise Collins. Up against Antoine Mason. Solid defense there. Collins getting it to go on the spin.
Well, Nick, it is an 8-point game. That is absolutely a surmountable deficit. It's all about execution for the Rogues moving forwards. We always say it, but the X's and O's go out the window at this point in the game, Nick. It's about heart and guts now.
Diawara. 3. No good for Diawara. The rebound by Cheney. The Rogues. Something's in the air here. They're starting to cook. Hobson. No good. Rebounded by Jonkum, who will send it out to Collins. Back to Hobson. He'll drive in himself. Hobson take it, and 2 free throws coming up. And the referee's going to have a word here. We're going to confirm what happened. The Toundra, there are many Toundra players around the officials, as there are officials themselves. Buckley, you can see, getting fired up, animated. Referee is having a word on what they are going to do. And it's Toundra ball.
Interesting.
Referees just had to confirm exactly what they saw. They've come to their conclusion, and the Montreal Toundra fans watching at home must be delighted to hear this. Diawara. Drive inside, now up to Demosthenes. Oh, how did that one not fall for him? Levy Londelay, and 1! Levy Londelay, the OT hero last night, providing a massive spark for the Montreal Toundra as he'll head to the line.
Nick, Londelay certainly has a nose for the ball, a tough rebounder, great understanding of positioning, and he's not going to put up gaudy stats on an average night, but he's an impact player.
That quick form always catches me off guard, Levy Londelay. Timeout called. And the Newfoundland Rogues have a lot of work to do before this one. Folks, we want to remind you, if you want to catch the next time the Newfoundland Rogues are here at the Mary Brown Center, you can do so at nfldrogues.ca. You can find all of our scheduling information. We will let you know here right now as well. The Rhode Island Kraken are coming to town. That's right, the Kraken are here, but these marauding Pirates, we are up for any challenge. And that will take place on March 28th and March 30th. 7 o'clock start time for both of those games. James, we will take one little final break here. We'll rest our voices, we'll show the fans, and when we return, we will see if the Newfoundland Rogues have what it takes to come back, or will the Montreal Toundra be the first team to defeat the Newfoundland Rogues in a home series. action back underway here at the Mary Brown Center, folks. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast here tonight. We have 2 more ad sponsors that we have to do. Double dribble called on Shondarius Cowart, and if that wasn't the dagger the previous play from the Toundra, that certainly will be. Shondarius Cowart, a double dribble called, so the Montreal Toundra will have a chance to wear down the clock a little bit.
Nick, it's unlike you to call the game off. That's usually my domain, but I think you're probably right.
Diawara headed to the free throw line. 2 of those coming up for him, 122 to 111. James, again, it's never impossible to come back from a deficit like this, but it's definitely not in the Rogues' best interest right now to send any kind of Toundra player to any kind of free throw line.
There's quite the difference between possibilities and likelihoods, we'll put it that way. Sure, it's possible, but the odds at this point, astronomically low, I would go as far as to say.
And Diawara hitting that one, so Cheney will inbound to Robert Hobson as we are in the final stages here. The Rogues aren't going to say die, though. They're going to keep going. Cheney. Harris almost losing a handle on it, but he'll get it to go up and in. Omega Harris with 2 points. They need a stop like it's nobody's business here. Philip Flory, and they're going to try and foul out of bounds. So the Newfoundland Rogues have forced a turnover just like that, James. This one's got life in it.
It's an 11-point game with 1:23 remaining. My God, Nick. I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible. A quick 3 would help.
Cheney, pull up, quick 3. And it's good, Armani Cheney!
Okay, all right.
We once again have a game on our hand, folks. Hobson with a steal. Shondarius will recover. The Newfoundland Rogues, ladies and gentlemen. They've caught this second wind out of nowhere with 1:30 to go. Up goes Cheney and in!
This is outrageous, Nick. I mean, it's a 6-point game with a minute left. It is practically anybody's contest now. What a run.
Just like that, James, another timeout has been called. We will go to a commercial break, but when we come back, we once again have a game on our hands. A minute left to go here at the Mary Brown Center. Who will win this series? Toundra lead by 6. It's anyone's game.
Nick, I've got plenty to say. I cannot believe what we just witnessed between these two teams. We thought this game was done and dusted. You called it off, which I've never heard you do before. We've been doing this for a while now. Rogues with a furious run, and now they have a chance.
Inbound is here, and a foul is called. Antoine Mason getting sent to the free throw line, and some words being exchanged here between Mason and Cheney. Just making sure things don't get out of hand here.
Nick, the 2 star guards exchanging some frank opinions on miscellaneous matters, I'm sure. Nothing wrong with a little bit of dialogue.
Mason at the free throw line where he has been solid tonight. The last 2 games between these two, he's been a bit... Makes the first one. He was a bit nervous. He wasn't at his best in the last 2 nights, but tonight Antoine Mason's come in and he's been dialed on those free throws. 125 to 118 now for the Toundra.
125 to 18, Nick. We'd be having some very different conversations right now.
Well, now it's 126 to 118. The Rogues have to go quick. What will happen? Omega Harris inside. Foul is called here, and it's going to be on the floor, which means that though 5 fouls for each team, the Rogues getting a chance to shoot 2 free throws. It's going to be Armani Cheney once he's able to get up, and the extended time on the floor does not bode well for the Newfoundland Rogues superstar.
He's ready to get up, Nick. He calls for his teammates to help him. A little bit shook up there, I think. Nothing to worry about.
When you bear as heavy of a workload as Armani Cheney, all the respites that you can get are precious.
Yeah.
And that one, taking his time. 58.8 seconds left to go here in the fourth. Armani Cheney with a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Hits the first one. James, I am at a loss for words here.
Well, Nick, no matter how this game shakes out, you cannot say that these people at the Mary Brown Center were not treated to a wildly entertaining game of basketball.
Moppers cleaning up the floor, and Armani Cheney is hoping to clean up his final free throw. He nails it. It's a 2-possession game. Inside, looking for the quick steal, and a foul called. So Shondarius Cowart fouls Nervins Demosthenes, and Demosthenes will head to the free throw line.
Well, and Nick, that's the only recourse for these Rogues. They've got to hack and slash because they need to get steals at this point in the game. That they can't allow the Toundra to run out any clock, but they don't want to send them to the free throw line either unless it's necessary. So you got to go for the steal at all costs.
Demosthenes has been ice cold so far tonight, and he makes no mistakes. 128 to 120 now. Timeout called by the Rogues to try and advance the ball here. The Newfoundland Rogues down by 8 points with very little time left in this game, James. We're going to bring you back to the desk. Folks, this has been a phenomenal game here tonight. It's been a phenomenal series as a whole. We only have 3 series left at home after this throughout the entirety rest of the year 2024. The Rhode Island Kraken will be coming here March 28th and March 30th for a 2-game series. Then the team goes back on the road before returning home in the middle of April for a series against the Sudbury Five and ending their season at home against the Tri-State Admirals. If you want to purchase tickets to any of these contests, be sure to go to nfldrogues.ca. That's nfldrogues.ca, where you can find all things Newfoundland Rogues. We're going to bring you back to the court now in just one moment. James, what a game we've had here. We thought the Rogues were down and out. They've crawled back into it here. We are not going to be out of here for a while yet.
Nick, that feels very likely. Certainly the numbers still favor the Toundra at this point. A comeback is statistically unlikely, but the way this game has been going, unlikely looks a little more likely than usual. I'll put it that way.
Here we go. Here comes Cheney up, and they're letting him take the 2.
Yep.
So they don't mind him taking 2s. And AD will steal that one. Robert Hobson, time is ticking, but they do get the precious steal that they need. It's Omega Harris for 3 off the rim, and Mambi Diawara fouled.
Wow, 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 Nick, that full court heave, that Hail Mary, probably not the pass that the Toundra are necessarily looking for. Antonio Davis able to step in front of it and intercept it.
Wow, 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 James. What a crucial moment, not only just in this game, but in the Rogues' season as a whole. Hit that 3, and who knows what could happen Now Mambi Diawara has to miss for the Rogues to have some kind of hope of getting back into this one soon.
Like one timeout remaining for the Rogues. I assume they'll be taking it, provided that Diawara knocks down this free throw.
And he does so.
And
no
the Rogues,
timeout. They elect not to use it. They're going to save it. Armani Cheney pulling up. 3. Nails it, Armani Cheney!
wow, Nick. I'm speechless. I can't analyze at this level. There's simply nothing to say.
Timeout called by the Toundra. They're not able to get a good-looking inbound, so they're forced to call a timeout here, burning a crucial one out of their system. The Newfoundland Rogues, once again, we're going to cut to another ad break. Folks, we'll be right back with you in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. High-octane basketball action continues on BSL TV. The Rogues players have taken to the court once again after this timeout. The Newfoundland Rogues down by 5, but their spirits are not crushed yet. There's no quit in Newfoundland, and there is enough time on the clock for something. The Toundra have possession and a 5-point lead. The Rogues need a stop. Inbounding to Levy Londelay, fouled. So the Newfoundland Rogues, after 1 second has elapsed on the clock, Levy Londelay will head back to the free throw line. He is a 75% free throw shooter, Levy Londelay. In this contest so far, he has 3 points. He iced the game last night as well, Levy Londelay.
Yeah, it seems like it's certainly got a clutch mentality, Nick. Not afraid of the moment. 73% free throw shooter, but down the stretch of a close game, I think that percentage might take a jump in the case of Londelay.
Makes that one as well, Londelay. So a timeout called by the Rogues, the final timeout for the home side. We'll be right back with you in just a few moments. Referees back out on the court, both teams still in their huddles. The Newfoundland Rogues, James, the fans are pumped up here, these Rogues fans. They love all the action. Even win or lose, they're just happy to be here to watch a phenomenal basketball game.
That's absolutely true, Nick. We can't say the same for the Newfoundland Rogues or head coach Jerry Williamson. This one has the potential to be a heartbreaker, but you've got to give the Rogues just a tremendous amount of credit for the comeback attempt here in the fourth quarter. And who knows, they're still in this one.
if nothing else, Jerry Williams can hang his hat on the players' ability just in the last 2 minutes of this fourth quarter alone. Unfortunately, James, there's 46 other minutes of basketball. And that's what we're finding out here. And that one is read by the Toundra. They're going to foul Mambi Diawara here. And the Newfoundland Rogues, that one may end up being the one that does it. Cheney, the pass into the corner was well read by Mambi Diawara.
It was.
And we are going to see 2 more free throws come up for Diawara. If he hits both of these, James, he'll hit 20 points, a threshold which he has not hit yet so far in this series. This is the first one.
This is the first one, Nick. Now, you know I've been impressed with Mambi Diawara all throughout this series. Tremendously well-rounded basketball player. Pretty much one of the best players on the floor in every facet of the game besides shooting.
His free throw game has been on point tonight, though. That was the first one he's missed. He converts on the second one. Rogues still going to try. Shondarius inside, up, and in. So it's last possession now for the Toundra, 23.6 seconds. And a foul called, so Levi Londelay will head back to the free throw line. 133 to 127. This game still isn't mathematically over, James, but you would have to think that it would take a long shot for the Rogues to get back in here. That's exactly what we're hoping for, is a long shot.
Well, Nick, I think they're going to need roughly at least 2 missed free throws right here to have a chance. And that's not going to happen. So
never count out the Rogues, James. They could come down here and hit a 3, win it back, hit another 3, win it back, hit another 3 in the span of 5 seconds.
They could.
And here they're going to try it. Shondarius Coward to Omega Harris. And they're going to go up, and that one no good, and they will see it out.
Yep.
No, they will not. They're going to still continue to foul.
The Rogues trying to lull the Toundra into sleep a little bit there, but we're done here.
And dunking on Antonio Davis there. That is incredibly disrespectful.
It is, Nick, and everybody knows that.
Armani Cheney, you really hate to see it. That's the second time in a row now that the Montreal Toundra have done that exact same thing, where they wait until right at the end of the game and then slam it home afterwards. Yep. Incredibly disrespectful from Levi Londelay. The referee's having a discussion with the Toundra now over this.
And Nick, it doesn't matter because
things are getting heated between AD and a trainer on the Toundra. Things are breaking out once again here, and it's another skirmish. The sparks flying once again. These two teams, this is the last time they'll meet in this season. And you knew as soon as Londelay did that reckless action.
Nick, it's a classless move, to be completely honest. And you're right to say they've done it twice in a row. The game is over. It's an unspoken rule in basketball. And, I mean, if you've been around the game at all, you know it. And credit to the Toundra for playing really hard-nosed, great basketball out here. But I'm just going to be frank, they have not carried themselves well as an organization during their time in Newfoundland. And if I see some trouble for saying that, so be it.
Referee's going to have a discussion here as calmer heads will prevail at the end of this one.
I don't think I've said that at any other point in either of the 2 seasons I've covered this team, but there's just been some unfortunate behavior from coaching staff and players alike with this team. What can I say?
The 2 head coaches just having a word here. Would love to be a fly on the shirt of the official, being able to hear what everyone is saying. We'd like to mention here as well, this actually isn't the last time that these 2 teams are going to meet, James. These 2 teams will meet once again in Montreal for the rubber match. If this game ends the way it is, which there's 1.1 seconds left, it will end as a Toundra win. But the Rogues and the Toundra will play a rubber match against each other in Montreal, April the 7th. That is a must-watch game for any BSL fan, any basketball fan. Jerry not happy there as he exits the huddle. And the referee's just going to have a word here with the Toundra.
I just think a team has a way of taking on an identity, influencing each other, falling into habits together. And there's something a little insidious about this group. I'm not over it, Nick. I'm not over it.
The first night I get, it's, you know, after what happened on Thursday, if Antoine Mason wants to go and do a two-handed slam at the end of a hard-fought game, in a game like this, though, where you're closing out the series, it's been a long fourth quarter, it's been dragged out, and all of a sudden, you are to slam Wally Rogues players under the basket, no less.
Yeah.
Not even defending, not expecting it.
It's about the integrity of the game.
Levy Londelay will head to the line after all of this. But man, oh man, this one has ended in a flurry. Antonio Davis getting kicked out of the game as well.
Well, Nick, Antonio Davis certainly made a lunge at a member of the coaching staff, if I saw it correctly, of the Toundra, so that's going to get you ejected every time, essentially.
From my angle, I believe I saw the coach reach out at Tone first.
Well, that may be the case, Nick.
We'll have to watch back the footage, of course, as Levy Londelay will miss that one to finish it off, to the joy of everyone here at the Mary Brown Center. This game is over.